Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new live episode of He Said, He Said, He Said. A look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective, because one perspective is just not enough. I'm your host, Alvin King, and I want to thank you all for being with us tonight. We're not just having a conversation tonight, we're holding up a mirror, because if you've been paying attention, you can feel it. There's tension in this country right now, a strain, a slow unraveling that's not happening all at once, but piece by piece, system by system, and decision by decision. And tonight, I want to speak on a few of those things, that's going on. So let's start where millions of Americans are feeling it the most, in our airports. Right now, TSA employees are at a breaking point. These are the people responsible for keeping our skies safe, showing up every single day, standing on the front lines of national security, and they're doing it without pay. Not one missed check, not two missed checks, but heading into a third missed check. Now think about that. More than 400 TSA employees have already walked away. Thousands more are calling out, not because they don't care, but because they can't afford to keep showing up for free. And what does that look like for the rest of us? It looks like long lines, delays, frustration, and uncertainty. But let's be clear. This isn't just about inconvenience. This is about our dignity. This is about people being asked to carry the weight of an entire system while their own lives are hanging in the balance. And then comes the response. ICE officers are being sent in to help, but union leaders are calling it exactly what it is, a distraction. One official said it's like giving someone who's dying of pneumonia a teaspoon of cough syrup. It doesn't fix the problem. It just makes it look like you're doing something. And while TSA workers are going unpaid, those ICE officers, they're getting paid again. So what message does that send? Now, I want to take it a step further. Let's talk about Delta Airlines, who has now suspended VIP services for members of Congress. No more expedited lines, no more special escorts through security. If you're a lawmaker, you now stand in the same lines as the people you represent. And for sure, that might feel like fairness. But let me be honest, it shouldn't take a crisis for equality to show up. And it shouldn't take dysfunction for accountability to kick in. What we're witnessing is a system under stress, and the cracks are no longer hidden. They're visible, they're public, and they're affecting each and every one of us each and every day. And while all of this is happening, there's another group of Americans sitting in a different kind of line, waiting for answers. 43 million student loan borrowers. The SAVE plan, which was supposed to provide relief, has now been halted, gone. Caught in legal battles, political gridlock, and a system that, let's just say, has never really worked for anyone anyway. So now what? Now millions of people are left in limbo, not knowing what they owe, not knowing what's coming next, not knowing how to plan for the future. And that's the key word of tonight, ladies and gentlemen, uncertainty. Whether it's workers not being paid, travelers stuck in chaos, or borrowers waiting for clarity, the question becomes, who is the system really working for? Because when leadership falters, it's the people who carry the burden bit by bit and piece by piece. But now, before we move forward, I do want to take a pause for something that matters just as much, if not more, than anything that I've just talked to you about. Because while systems may fail us, we cannot afford to fail ourselves. March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. And here on He Said Live, we believe that loving our community means taking care of our health. Colorectal cancer is now the leading cause of cancer death in adults under 50. And for Black men, the numbers are even more alarming. We are more likely to be diagnosed and more likely to die from it. So my brothers, I want you to listen clearly. If you are 40 and above, this is your moment, not for fear, but for action, for responsibility and legacy. Screenings save lives. Early detection changes everything. I know because I made my third round an appointment to get, have my colorectal test in May. So taking care of your health is not a weakness to me. It's wisdom and it's strength and it's self-respect. So, do what you have to do. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let me take a moment before I bring the guys in to set the stage for the show tonight. We're diving into No Secret Stays Buried, Disinformation, Trauma, and the Stories We Run From with author T.J. Graham and his new novel, Songs of the Cicadas. This is a conversation about truth, about survival, and what happens when the past refuses to stay silent. Because whether it's personal or public, what we try to bury has a way of finding its way back to the surface. And tonight, we're not running from it. We're facing it head on with our conversation with TJ. And I don't usually do this, but I do want to set up our chat for tonight because I do want all of you to be engaged in this. We're going to talk about what happens when the script flips on divorce. A successful woman paying her ex-husband millions, child support, turning over the assets, even businesses. Is that equality or is that a double standard we're not quite ready to face? So we're going to get into it tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for our chat. I want to welcome you again to our live show. I'm Alvin King, and if you all are ready, let's get on with the chat. Bobby.
Alvin.
How you doing, man? Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, it is two of us tonight. Sean is actually, I just saw his name pop up. Sean is not with us tonight. He's vacationing, somewhere, having fun, somewhere. And Bobby, is this spring break for you?
It is spring break. Well, it's the end of my spring break. Yes, this was the last work week day that I had. Yeah, so it was a kind of a day. So I've been doing stuff around the house and putting china away, throwing stuff away. I think I recently saw a post of yours talking about doing some in-home inventory, like going through stuff and getting rid of stuff. So I've been doing some of that today.
I am definitely doing that. I am what I'm calling downsizing. I started with shoes, and I'm seriously downsizing. I'm following
you.
Oh, you are?
Beautiful day. Did you get out yesterday? It was gorgeous here in Washington.
I did. And last week I was sick. We weren't here last week, right? No. We were out. I was sick. I caught that spring, that whatever the weather was doing. I got caught up in it. Cold day, hot day, windy day, and I caught a cold from it. So I'm feeling much better.
You walking around here in a tank top and were you out showing the guns or?
No. The guns were put away, but it was just the changing of the weather.
Yeah,
and it finally caught up with me. So
I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. Great to see you. Hello, Monica. Thank you for joining us tonight, and for everyone who is joining us, even if we can't see you on here. Oh, Patrice, how you doing, Patrice?
That's my neighbor.
Oh, hi, Patrice. Thank you for joining us. So, all right, now, now that we said what needed to be said,
yes.
I want to go ahead, and I think that we should name it, Bobby, because this isn't just a conversation tonight. It's a situation about real people, and yep. I don't know why, but this conversation just fell in my lap. Like, well, people really have double standards about divorce, and I thought, we should talk about it. So, Bobby, If you don't mind, will you go ahead and set the record straight about who exactly we're talking about?
Happy. And this was a bit of a learning curve for me, because I actually am not necessarily a consistent viewer of this franchise, but I'm certainly aware. You'd have to live under a rock to not be aware of the great housewives of Pick a City. So in this case, the issue happens to revolve around the very successful Kandi Burruss and her husband, Todd Tucker, of the Housewives of Atlanta franchise. So we're talking down south right now, and they're finalizing their divorce, which was highly publicized and very controversial in many ways because of the very thing that you were mentioning, Alvin. And I think what makes it particularly controversial, if you will, for some people, is the fact that she is the principal breadwinner. And so in this particular divorce kind of like settlement that they were working on, there were a couple of issues that really stood out. First and foremost, Todd was to receive $2 million from Kandi. Again, all of this was going to Todd. He was to take full control of their joint restaurant business. Okay. This other one was particularly interesting to me. He could become the primary custodial parent. Now, if you know anything about the typical divorce settlement, it is usually the female who is the custodial parent in terms of children. But he was up for that. And she was expected to cover major child expenses, including $10,000 to $25,000 a month in child support. Okay? So $2 million, full control of the restaurant, custodial parents, and $10,000 to $25,000 from her in child support. So the question that we were talking about, based upon your initial introduction, is if these roles were reversed, if Todd were the millionaire and Kandi were receiving the money, the business and the support and the kids, would it be considered normal?
From the conversations that I've been having, Bobby, and wanting to bring this topic up so people could weigh in on that, and seeing some of the postings that were on social media about, and again, this was early in the week.
Yes.
When all of it was unfolding. Yep. And all I was hearing was, everything negative about Todd being a deadbeat father, and he was taking Kandi's money and all this stuff, and looking past the fact that it was a marriage. So I want to talk about and break down what's really underneath all of this, because I do feel that there's a long-standing expectation, call it tradition, call it conditioning, call it hyper-masculinity, that says a man is supposed to be the provider, hold the financial power, and never be in position where he's being supported. And I don't know. I think
there are a lot of men who struggle at being in relationships with women who make more than them. They feel, because as you said, some of these very expectations or societal roles really kind of make men, in some ways it's believed to be emasculating that the female be the major breadwinner.
But we don't ask those same questions to women when the man is paying them. It's almost like a guarantee that and for our viewers, Bobby and I, or this show, we're not hating on women at all. So I don't know. I don't want that to go.
Now, we're just looking at whether or not there's a bit of a double standard in terms of the way that people respond in divorce settlings when it's the female who ends up being the principal person who's paying out, if you will.
Correct. So I just want to make sure that I say that. So in the conversations that I've been having with people, and again, this was early in the week when all of this, unfolded. The biggest thing, and I know you said business, but they have several restaurants. Okay. And people were saying, why should he get the restaurants? Why should he get the kids? Why should anything go to this man who is the father of these kids? And I just had a problem with that. And yes, we're talking about a heterosexual couple right now. But if this was a same gender loving couple, having, I would love to. I don't think that, first of all, people wouldn't even care. I don't think that they would care if it were two women who were raising a child or getting a divorce or and having that type of popularity. So that, I just want to dig in a little deeper with that, you know, or if it were two men, nobody would be having that conversation. But in this world that we live in this situation, the man, that should not be happening to the man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Well,
just
that for me, the big one is the custodial thing, because I just, you know, I've unfortunately known a lot of people who have gone through the divorce process over the years and so forth. And it again, and I think it's because we rely on traditional perceptions about males and females, but rarely does a male get to be the major custodial parent in these divorces. And I'm wondering, is it the result of her work schedule, her, you know, the demands on her life? I don't know. For me, that's one of the big intriguing questions as to what are the dynamics or the specifics of their relationship that lead the judicial system to be in favor of him being the custodial parent over her. So,
yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And again, I wish that some of the viewers that were chiming in on some of those posts and saying these god awful things about Todd, I was like, you all need to sit back and do some thinking about, since you're so into this couple and knowing who they are. They certainly didn't take the route that you took, Bobby. Okay, thank you.
So it begs the question then, you know, is this really about them or is it about us? I mean, are we really prepared for a true equitable relationship between partners and what it really looks like in this particular situation? I mean, is it them or is it us?
And when you say, is it us, you mean us as a people?
Yeah, is a society in general that is just speaking that they would like to have equality and equitable partnerships and relationships, but still leaning back on some of those very traditional roles that we have come to see as traditional.
I think it's certainly about us. I think, you know, we live in times where, I mean, it's been years where statistically women have been making more money than men, you know? Yeah. And so I don't think people are changing with that. I don't think that people are looking at that. Their females' careers have just skyrocketed along with their paychecks. And so that comes with a cost when you're in a marriage. And so I think it is about us and our way of thinking, Bobby. I do. I definitely think that. Yeah.
Of your heterosexual friends that are in partnerships or marriages, would you say that of the men in those situations that how would you think they would respond if they were the ones getting divorced and the wives had do you think that would be an issue for them?
If okay, I'm sorry, in two same gender loving relationships.
No, this is a heterosexual relationship.
Oh, right? Heterosexual relationship. Oh, what would they say about it?
Yes, the men in the heterosexual relationships that you're closest to, do you think that they would struggle with this, what we're seeing here in front of us tonight?
Absolutely not. I don't think that they would struggle with it. I don't. Especially the ones who know who they are. And if you looked at the franchise, they had a prenup. So
they did.
They had a prenup. So yeah, I think if anybody watches the show or watched their whole marriage publicly, you would know that they had a prenup. Okay. So that was a huge storyline years back. So yeah, they definitely had a prenup. So yeah, I don't think that that any of my gay friends would have they would look at it like they're in a marriage. Yeah. And you got to look at a partnership. You got to look at it for what it is. So
I will say quickly on the sideline, I do believe in a prenup. I do believe in them. So, and I don't understand why all this is going on if they had a prenup. I mean, that's the purpose of a prenup. So you don't have to go through all this. But.
Well, but if you had a prenup, there are things that you gain together outside of the prenup. And that's what this
take that into consideration. A good prenup would go like, and moving forward, should we build certain that I'm saying a really good one takes into consideration stuff that happens moving forward.
Well,
not just
I'm going to plead the fifth and say when I get the prenup areas of my life,
yeah.
then I'm gonna come back to you, okay? Because I can't really speak on it. So I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and move ahead, but you might be the only one that I talked to about this. So, viewers, I want to ask you all a question. If equality is the goal of a relationship, why does it feel uncomfortable when a man benefits financially from a divorce the same way a woman would historically? If any of you all can weigh in on that, why is it a problem? Why is it uncomfortable? I don't think it should be, but I've been in some uncomfortable conversations over the last week that just like blew my mind, Bobby. Blew my mind. So, but you can go and viewers, you can weigh in if you like. How you doing, Michi? Thank you for being here tonight. Yes.
And obviously, I'd love to hear from our viewers also, if indeed we are responding as we are simply because of the traditional values that we see, the roles that men are supposed to have: principal breadwinner, protector, provider, and not a recipient of support from the wife financially. Is that a question for us as well? So just food for thought for our listening audience tonight.
Yeah. I think, let me see. I just just food for thought. But I again, thank you for indulging me in this, because I just thought, wow. I mean, I'm very relationship oriented, and I do believe in marriage. But I also believe that when the opportunity presents itself, that things like a prenup,
yes,
should enter the room.
You said should enter the room.
Should enter the room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Because I figure if you stay together, all it is a piece of paper in the drawer. That's all it is. I've always watched when people freak out about it. And I'm like, if you're together, it's simply a piece of paper. But what I've seen is that the people who are divorcing one another are not the same people who married one another. Like, you got all this emotion and all the anger and the frustration and all that built in to when you're sitting at that end of the line of the divorce that you didn't have when you were getting married. So again, for me, I see it as a really hopefully good safeguard that should we ever get to this point, we've got something in place that will override or should override all this other emotion that we bring to the situation.
Well, I know I'm looking at a whole nother talk show, because some opportunists that are probably listening to this who only want to marry somebody for what they can get out of them.
Oh, wow. I guess there are a few of us out there.
Oh, yeah, a few. Okay, yeah. They're out there. But okay, well, we're going to close, Bobby. And at the end of the day, this situation forces us to confront something real. We are evolving in how we see relationships, or are we still holding on to old rules just with new faces? So before we close this, there's been some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to make sure that we share with you. According to reports, Candy will pay a one-time lump sum to Todd to balance their asset division. And I think it's something to the point of $426,000.
Okay.
But also, there will be no ongoing child or spousal support paid to him. They're going to share custody. More importantly, they've agreed to both parents have agreed to sharing responsibility for major decisions in their children's lives. So, maybe, just maybe, this isn't just about who pays who, but about what fairness actually looks like when everything is said and done, at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
well, I'm glad they came to that conclusion. It sounds like it, it allows them to continue to co-parent in, I think, a really important way when it comes, particularly with kids. As from the side of being an educator, I've seen the ugly side of when parents divorce and the implications on their children around simple things, as even simple as going on a field trip. One parent doesn't want them to go, the other one wants them to go. So I'm hoping that they'll be able to move forward in co-parenting in a positive way.
And one more piece, and then we're going to move on with the show. But I want to add, because I heard this, I don't know if it's true, but for anybody who watches the franchise, Todd, it's been said that Todd is going to sue Mama Joyce, which is Candy's mother, for defamation of character throughout the seasons that she was on there talking about him. I don't know if that's true or not, but I did read that somewhere. But I'm gonna hold my opinions to myself on that. But that's what Todd said that he was going to do. So
I don't know, because again, I don't watch the shows, but it makes me ask the question, brother, should you just walk away? Like you just got out of court and you walking back into court?
Just let it go. All right. All right, Bobby, are you ready?
Let it go, brother.
Just let it go. Okay, Bobby, are you ready to introduce our guests introduced tonight?
Absolutely.
You know, and ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce our guests, tonight we're doing things a little different. Our guest is here with us live. You just won't see him on screen due to formatting. But trust me, you're going to hear every word and get what you need to get, out of this conversation tonight. But we are so glad that he is here. And tonight we're joined by an author whose work doesn't just tell stories, it unearths them. Born and raised in Savannah, Georgia, TJ Graham uses storytelling as a lens to explore trauma, identity, and the emotional weight of the past. His writing is known for blending psychological suspense with subtle supernatural elements, never for spectacle, but to deepen the truth of human experience. His award-recognized novel, Songs of the Cicadas, has been praised for its emotional intensity and haunting atmosphere, following characters forced to confront abuse, addiction, identity, and the consequences of long-buried secrets. With a background in science from Clark Atlanta University and a voice grounded in raw, character-driven storytelling, TJ Graham brings us narratives that stay with you long after the final page. We're honored to welcome a writer who reminds us, no matter how far we run, the truth always finds its way back. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome TJ Graham.
Good evening, TJ.
Hey,
Hey,
TJ.
what's going on, fellas? How you doing?
TJ is
He said first.
TJ.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I want you to know this is an unprecedented show, but we're glad you're here, and thank you. As I told our viewers, due to some unforeseen circumstances, TJ is with us in the format that he's with us tonight. So we're just glad that you're here and blessing us with your story tonight. So TJ, I'm going to kick it off, and before we dive into the conversation, I want you to give our audience a quick snapshot about what is Songs of the Cicadas and what it's all about.
Are you there, TJ?
Are you there, TJ?
I am here.
Oh, okay.
Hold on one moment, please. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Hey, guys.
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ask me a question?
Yes. I wanted you to share with our viewers what the book Songs of Cicadas is about. Give us a brief overview of that.
Hello?
Oh, we're having some technical difficulty.
Hey, guys.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us, TJ?
I can hear Bobby, but I can't hear Alvin.
Oh.
Can't hear Alvin.
That's strange.
Bobby, give him the question because I don't know.
While we're working on that, the question that Alvin had asked of you is if you could give our viewers a brief synopsis of what Songs of the Cicadas is all about.
Okay, great. Cicadas is about, at its core, is about surviving trauma and what it takes to get through trauma, homophobia, child abuse, drug addiction, and repression of self. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what healing looks like. It's not always pretty what it looks like.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now we've gotten word from our producer. Alvin, do you want to?
Let me see. Hold on for 1 second. Okay, TJ, I'm going to ask you to do something because since we've had you backstage and Bobby will be here and I will be here, asking Bobby to sign off and come back on, sign out and come back in.
All right. All right, TJ, it seems that you're having some type of technical difficulty. So what our producer has asked is if you're able to sign out and come back into the studio.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
Okay, all right. We'll be here.
All right.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me just tell you all that we are committed. we are committed to bobbing and weaving when we have to. This is a live show, so we often don't have the opportunity to shut down and come right back. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Bobby, while we're waiting for TJ to come back, and since we were just talking about breaking news, did you hear about
you there?
Yeah, I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Well, yes, Alvin,
can you hear me, TJ?
I can't hear you now. Yes, I can now.
Ah, great. Okay, then we're going to go ahead. I'm glad, because I was going to give our viewers some breaking news. Bobby, you can go ahead.
Okay, so thank you. You answered Alvin's question, but mine was a little bit about your background for our viewers. Now, I read that you were raised in Savannah, Georgia. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so the question is, tell us a little bit about how being raised in Savannah, how the environment shaped or informed your voice as a writer.
Well, Savannah was when I left, obviously growing up, we complained about growing up, but when I look back on Savannah, was a great experience growing up. It's with a lot of history, a lot of family. I have 25 cousins on my mom's side, maybe like 10 on my dad's side. So, it was a great experience growing up. So, as far as my writing is concerned, writing is something that because there's so many of us all the time. I have 5 brothers and sisters. So writing gave me an escape to go into myself, with my own little piece of myself. So that's what writing did for me. And I had such a big imagination. It gave me a way to put it out on paper, to bring it to life. So that's what writing did for me. But Savannah was great. When I look back on it, obviously grew up in it. We complain, but looking back on it, I had a great childhood. Not a lot of money, but we had a great childhood. Yeah.
Well, we know that money alone does not make a happy childhood.
So. Definitely does not. It definitely does not.
It certainly does not.
Thank you.
So to that point though, TJ, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Great. Okay. So to that point, of being around so many family members and writing, was there a particular moment or time that you realized that writing, wasn't just an escape, but something that that was your passion, and that you needed to process some of your experiences?
Was there a particular point? I don't know. I think I was wrote, but my mother's cousin, she read something that I wrote, and she told me that could be my calling, and my mother didn't even realize it. So I was like, really? I didn't think so. I was just putting stuff down on paper that came to my head. So yeah, that's where it came from. I could see that point when my mother's cousin said that, and I was like, well, hey, I can probably do this. Yeah.
Okay.
But I didn't think it was. I tried to do it in high school, but I also had I'm also a science person, and I had 2 teachers pulling at me, one writing and one chemistry, and I was like, who gave me the money first? That's what I'm going to do. So chemistry gave me the money first. That's why I majored in chemical engineering and not writing, which I regret.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, as you talk about some of those life choices, it reminds us that the songs of Cicadas, songs of the Cicadas, is based upon your life. So tell us a little bit about how much of it is, what percentage, I guess, would you say is actually real, and how much is fictionalized to protect your own privacy and just your own identity?
Well, I could say this: most of it is real, except for certain parts of it aren't. The ending is not real. It's totally fictionalized. That is, but I did change the dates and locations to make it more of a more of a story. My parents were never together, but I made them together in the book, but they were never together in real life. But Yeah, most of it is real. All that is real. All that is pretty much real. I'm not a drug addict. you know, always is in the book.
Did we lose TJ?
I think we lost him. Oh my
Did we
goodness.
lose?
We're having technical difficulties tonight. I'm so sad about
Oh, he went out. Oh God, he left.
this. That's why I was like, he just disappeared.
He disappeared. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, look.
Our producer saying that he's working on getting him back in. Norman, what's the magic?
He said just lost him. Well, what I was going to say before TJ, before the first technical issue that we had, I was going to ask you, Bobby, did you hear about Tiger Woods and his accident today?
Let me tell you.
And his Range Rover flipping over in Miami. Yeah.
So this is the second time he has rolled a car. Am I correct? That we know of, at least.
Yes.
Can we ask him not be, because the other thing, in all seriousness, somebody's going to get hurt as a result of what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's what really concerns. He's got money. If he flips 3 cars a day, he'll probably be able to so it's not, or if he harms himself, which I hope he does not do, it's still one thing. But my fear is that someone else is really going to be harmed.
Hey guys, I'm back. What happened?
All right.
You're back?
Yeah, what happened, man? I'm talking. What happened?
You went out. Our producer said that you were gone. So okay, we're gonna keep going because we don't. I don't want to lose you. Okay.
Yeah, man. What happened, man? I was in a groove. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous, but I was in a groove. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. I gotta go back. So you were telling us, Bobby. I think you had asked him about
how much of the book was actually real and how much of it was fictionalized, and he was just saying that. He was I guess the main character here deals with substance abuse, and he is saying that he is not a drug addict. So he was clarifying that, although it's based on his life, that aspect of it is fictionalized.
Yes, that is fictionalized, and a lot of stuff that happened to with a lot of stuff toward the end. That's totally fictionalized, but most of it is pretty much real. It's pretty real. I just changed the dates and locations and times, but that's real.
Okay.
Well, one of the things that really stuck out for me about the book was the title called Songs of the Cicadas. And I know what a cicada is, and it carries a lot of symbolism. But what does the title mean to you, TJ, and how does it reflect the emotional core of the book?
Well, when I was 8 or 9, I found a cicada in the yard, in the front yard, and I was always fascinated by them, about how they burn us up underground for years and come up and make a lot of noise, and people find them see them as a pest and distraction. I changed around, said maybe they're trying to tell you what they heard and witnessed underground all these years. So they're telling secrets or singing secrets that they heard all these years, for all these years to be underground. That's how I interpret it to cicadas. And that's what the book is about. It's about secrets being exposed, and that's what the book is about. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I saw cicadas, the word or the name of the book, that's where it took me. I said, cicadas live underground. They come out every so often, and I'm like, when they come out, they got some stories to tell.
Exactly. That's exactly how I took it. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what it means.
Okay, you on.
Yeah, I don't. Now that I've heard this. And you've given us that concept, I don't think I'll look at a cicada when they come out and they're making all that noise, which I see as more annoying than anything.
Yeah.
I may now think a little differently about them. They are telling stories that they
because what do they do? They don't do anything. They don't eat. They just mate and die and go back on the ground, come back out and make a lot of noise. So they're telling, in my view, they're telling what they heard.
Oh.
Yeah, what you heard all the years, 17 years. So that's why August. What happened to August is when he was 17. He comes back 17 years later. That's a cycle
of the character in the book.
Yes, sir. August Grace is his name.
Okay. Okay, because I'm gonna ask you a question, Bobby. If you want to ask your question, Bobby, I will come back because I want to ask a question about August Gray.
Okay,
Great.
we touched on addiction a couple of times in terms of the book, and that it is it's a central theme in the story. Why this central theme? Why was this something that you needed to confront in this way in this book?
Well, I felt that the trauma that August went through, that was the way to cope. That was the way to cope. And I didn't see him any other way other than killing himself, possibly. Other than trying to find a way to either sex and drugs is the way he does to cope.
Mhm.
So it was so dramatic to him that's the only way I see how he get through it.
Yeah, it was his mechanism.
That was a coping mechanism. But I did, like I said, I never did drugs before in my life. I didn't even smoke weed before. So I had asked somebody about it. My ex, he lives in New York now, and he went to Ivy League school. He's a chemist too, and he called me. He read the book. He called me crying, and I was like, "Why are you crying?" He said, "Because August is me." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I'm a drug addict." Like I said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he outlined to me how he was addicted to a lot of drugs, and because of the book, he went to rehab. So I guess that's a good thing. So people, I guess what I'm saying to you is people cope using drugs that you don't even know. Like he's a functioning drug addict. My friend was a functioning drug addict. August is a functioning drug addict. So yeah, that's that's how I viewed it.
So as much as this book is about your life and August being that character, that's one thing about August, and I'm going to say his shenanigans in a book that just does not connect to you. That you are drug free. Okay,
Yeah.
so ladies and gentlemen, as you all read this book and you look at pictures of TJ, just know that part is okay. Just know in case you plan to meet him. So the book also addresses child abuse directly.
Yeah, it does. It does.
What responsibility did you feel in telling the story for yourself and for the readers who may recognize their own experiences, TJ?
Because well, kids. Okay, when it comes to I'm gay and August is gay, obviously, and my father he was abusive to me. Not in the way that August was abusive to him, but he was abusive to me. His is more so mental, and that stains a child, growing up. And I want to, in the book, for example, people are silent about the abuse of August and abuse of what's going on, and that should not be the case. People should speak up about what they see and what they know is going on to a child, so that they can break free of that abuse. So I wanted to make sure that people that resonate with people that may be going through that or know somebody's going through that, so they can help themselves.
And it's funny how we were about to, and correct me if I'm wrong, we were seemed like we might have been pivoted when the word child abuse, the first thing that people go to is sex.
Oh yeah,
and thank you for clarifying that in this story, and it was verbal.
It was verbal and physical.
And physical. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not sexual. Yes.
Yeah.
Not sexual.
Because I'm gay. And he even went so far. I lived in California until I was 11, and he wrote me a letter when I was 11. I came from school that said he doesn't want to be my father anymore, and he doesn't want me to be around his mother or aunt or sister anymore if I'm gay. So that really fucked with me. I'm not gonna lie, it did. I didn't realize how much I was older, but it really did.
So obviously there is a complex relationship between August and his father, and you've shared with us the complexity of the relationship with your father as well. And so in putting this on paper, what was the emotional cost in writing this?
It really was. It was more. It was more than I thought it would be. It really was more than I thought it would be. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna deny that. A lot of it was. A lot of stuff that happened in August was emotionally because a lot was real to me. I could see stuff happening to me, happening to all that happened to always happen to me, and I had to step away from it for a couple days to come back to it. And I called my aunt and told her about it, and she was surprised that her brother did all that to me. And but yeah, it was it was pretty pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie, I'm human. Even I try to be stoic all the time, but it definitely took a little toll on me, and
So,
it still
right,
does.
book that your family found out about the abuse?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Was it through the book that your family? You said when you reached out to your father's sister,
Yeah,
she was unaware of his abusive relationship with you.
she was unaware of the extent. My other aunt, she knew. She knew. She knew. But my aunt, we call her Pig. Her name is Hattie, but we call her Pig. Pig knew. I mean, Pig didn't know. She was like, he did that to you, and she sent him the book, and he said he didn't do that, but she didn't know. But
Mhm.
it it really was, because I live here in California, and I came back, and my aunt Lynn, she was like, because he's beating on my father's name is James, because he was beating on him. That's what it was. So
Mhm.
but it wasn't that bad like that, like August. It was really, like I said, more emotional abuse.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, it was really
Mm.
more emotional abuse.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We're sorry that you experienced it still.
yeah, it is. It was tough. It really was tough. My father he tried to, I don't know if I can get into this, if I have enough time to get into this, but he tried to, I had seen him that happened in 80 something, and he came back to Savannah. I saw him in 2009, and he tried to apologize. He was crying, all kind of shit like that. But then he went back to the same old shit. So
Mhm.
that's a washed up relationship, you know.
Huh. That's a area of my life through
Yeah,
your story
yeah,
that hits personally.
yeah.
I certainly have my father-son stories that has helped shape who I am, to be honest with you, with all due respect. So, TJ, was there ever a moment? Well, first of all, thank you for sharing that,
Mhm.
Welcome.
because I could hear it in your voice, and I just want to thank you for sharing that. Was there ever a moment while writing this where you considered making it safer or less revealing? And if not, what pushed you to stay honest to what you were writing?
No, there's never a moment I didn't want to reveal. I mean, like I said, it's not totally, in the book. Obviously, it's the book, but fuck him. I'm excuse my language, but fuck that nigga. He I am not a I was always I'm a I was always a student. I got scholarships, and I never did any drugs, as I said before. I was a pretty good kid. I think anybody would be proud of a kid like me. You know what I'm saying? And he
Mhm,
only saw me as a gay guy. And I'm not
mhm.
going to use the word that he probably would use, but he only saw me as a gay kid. An
Mhm.
embarrassment to him. So yeah, yeah.
Well, look at you
TJ,
now.
when readers finish Songs of the Cicadas,
hmm
what do you hope remains with them once they close those pages?
I hope that they take away that they can't survive. That they can survive, and that trauma does not have to define them. You know, and I hope that they take away that they can be their authentic selves. There's another character in the book, Devon. He's totally fictionalized. Devon is going through. He was married, and he got divorced when his wife found out that he was gay. He never did anything on the side, but she found out that he was gay.
Mhm.
So that was his trauma. So I hope people take away from it. They can survive and be their authentic selves.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, to that, how did Austin
August.
and August and August and this and the second character,
Mhm.
how did they connect in the book?
In the book, they met in second grade. This man in second grade. Devon, he August in the book, he was kind of repressed with the kid, kept himself, and Devon kind of forced him to be friends with him. Not forced, but he kept pressing him. They became friends and close. Then August did not know Devon was gay, and he just assumed that August was gay. August was gay because of the way he acted. But they didn't. He just was a friend to him. He saw a friend to him, a kindred spirit of sorts.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm. Hmm.
yeah.
Well, Bobby said, I'm gonna, I guess, frame it another way because I do want you to go a little deeper. Also, for someone watching right now, listening to you, and who sees themselves in the stories that you've been saying, what would you want them to know about? What would you want them to know or take away?
From the book or from me?
Let's start with you.
Okay.
Let's
I knew
start
it was
with you.
going to say first, yes.
Yeah, let's start with you.
Well, as far as somebody that's gay, LGBT or whatever, I never gave up. I don't know if I can say it, but I never cared. I never really cared what people think, what people thought about me. I never did, and I think that everybody's different, but you get way down from caring what people think about you, and you afraid that you'll live your life. Um, that is stifling to you, or any individual, and it doesn't have to be gay. It could be any type of situation. Um, and that goes for me and August, But August is much more repressed than I am because his father was beating it into him that he should not be like that, or he could not be like that. But I never really, I never really cared, I never really cared, and I still don't. So that's the way I take away from it. But of course, everybody's life is different. Everybody has to go through their own situation. But at the end of the day, it's you're the only one responsible for your life. That's the takeaway.
Well, TJ, at the end of each of our shows, we offer some words of the week. And I want you to hear those words of the week. Now, we didn't know how you were going to answer this question. I want you, remember what you just said, and I want you to listen to our words of the week that we chose during our production meeting earlier this week. But,
Okay.
but when you said what you said, I was like, okay, then we chose well. We chose well. TJ, tell our viewers what's next for you, both professionally and personally. What's going on that's exciting you right now? What makes you excited for your future?
Well, I'm really diving into more of my writing and my music. I'm a songwriter as well. So and Songs of Cicadas, by the way, Songs of Cicadas does have a soundtrack. It's on Amazon. I mean on Spotify, iTunes. Any streaming platform. It's by the same name, Songs of Cicadas soundtrack. And I'm putting out another song, the live soundtrack. And as far as that's concerned, the character I want to in the book, his name is Terrell McGinnis. In real life, his name is Andrew McInnes. And Andrew, I told him about the character, what I was going to do to the character. He's like, it's fine, it's okay. But when he died in October, and I really, really, I'm still grieving him. I met him when I was 17. He was 18, just like in the book. But I'm still grieving him. So I'm honoring him by making an album for him. Under his pseudonym Terrell McGinnis. My next book is called Trapped, and Trapped is about a father and son really don't understand each other. They butt heads, but then a supernatural event happens, and they're forced to see each other for who they are. That's called Trapped. That's my next book. Come out in the fall.
It's powerful. Now, is all this music, the soundtrack, is this original music, or is it collections of other artists?
No, I wrote all the songs. I wrote all 16 songs, and yeah, I did. And it's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, he's pretty dope. Allow me to my home run a little bit. It's pretty dope.
Next, now, see, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna let you all first. I'm gonna let you all in on a little secret for any of those of you who want to come on. He said. We give our special guests what do you call it, a jot form for them to tell us all about themselves, so that we can frame the best story possible. So we're hearing it first that this man is not only a writer, but he writes an author, but he's writing music and he has music out. So when we advertise the show after this is over, I would love to have that link so we can support you and be a part of your life moving forward. TJ, can you please get that to me as soon as
definitely will. I was in the music industry for like for like 10, 12 years. So I had a studio. See, I'm the worst guest. I had a studio and I had a record label and I had a writing troupe and all that stuff. So I write songs. So I did write all the songs, so it is out. It's on all streaming platforms. And I apologize for not being not being upfront.
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to publicly slap your hand. I'm just letting you know that we're sitting here with a boatload of talent, and I want to make sure that we get it out to the masses as much as possible, TJ.
Yeah.
But I want to take this time. We're at the end of the show, and I wanted to take this time to thank you for joining us tonight. And under these circumstances, like I said, we knew before he got here, ladies and gentlemen, that we would not have him in totality, and you would see his wonderful, beautiful face, directly, ladies and gentlemen. But hopefully you will come back, and you will meet with us again, and we will have you on screen, and we will have that other type of interview that we want to have with you. Yes.
We might even do some of that original music. Who knows?
You could even perform it on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I can't say.
All the publicists,
but I don't. Again, thank you guys for having me. I apologize that I wasn't. It's not the form that you guys are used to. I'm going. I told you what's going on. But audience, my website is tjgraham.com. The music is the album, soundtrack is on Cicadas. It's on all streaming platforms, and hopefully you check out the book and the music. Thank you so much.
TJ, do me a favor and give me that your website again.
IamTJGraham.com.
IamTJGraham.com. See, okay. I'm calling you after this show is over.
And the music is available on all streaming platforms.
I feel like a tongue lashing is coming to me.
No, I'm your new big brother, little brother, or whatever you want to call it. But I definitely, again, I want to say thank you for being here. Don't go away. We're going to bring you back on, to close the show. But again, ladies and gentlemen, TJ Graham's author, Songs of the Cicadas. Thank you, my brother.
TJ. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's called determination. You can go out, you can come back in, you can go out, but we are. He said it's gonna get that show done.
It's live, baby. It is live, Bobby. And ladies and gentlemen, it's been several weeks since we've done this, but we are back next week with a Let's Get Newsy. Okay, it's been over 8 or 9 weeks since we've done Let's Get Newsy, Bobby. But next week we're back and we're doing that, and we'll be live, and hopefully Sean will be back. And as Bobby mentioned, the words of the week this week, thanks to Bobby. At some point, you will have to disappoint others to live a life that's honest to you. People pleasing will drain you, not save you. You have every right to set boundaries and choose your peace. You can disappoint people and still be a good person.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. So look, we're about to close. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Can we bring TJ back real quick before we go off? And
you there, TJ?
Are you there?
I am here. Yes.
Okay, he's there. So ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you, TJ, for being here and giving us a wonderful show. Bobby, as always, hugs, kisses.
Sean, have fun.
Wakanda to you. And we look forward to seeing everybody on the next live episode of He Said He's. We look forward.
No, you did it. You did it.
We look forward to seeing everybody on the next live episode of He Said.
He said.
He said.
You all have a good night. I can that up. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.